And welcome all to Valhalla, the Seer, week 2 of season 5. After a crazy week 1, we got to see a few of the games casted here live on the desk. We also have seen some pretty crazy results end up happening and probably quite a few shakeups in the predictions. I am joined today with Hailstorm for this beautiful episode of the Seer. How are you doing today, Hailstorm?
What's up? I'm doing alright. Had a long day doing family stuff with the kids, but now we're here getting the Seer in before our games tomorrow night.
I'm excited. I'm excited for tomorrow's night's games, especially after a really hectic week 1 that we got to see. A few a few 3-game series. We got to see quite a few mixed matches. We saw a couple upsets even from the predictions. So if anything, apparently I'm like 2.5 times this level. See, this is. I turned my mic down a little bit. That should help.
You're good. I can also turn, I think, myself up a little bit.
That might be a good idea.
Let's see.
But I definitely want to just say, like, it was definitely at least the games we got to
Hopefully that'll be
cast.
a little better.
Oh, and actually, let me do that real quick. Just apologies. There were some serious technical difficulties with my own computing, which caused part of the issue on Wednesday night. I want to say is when was the last cast, and then when I attempted to do it Thursday night, unfortunately, was not able to get the stream to run due to some complications with technical difficulties, as mentioned. But now that should not be an issue anymore after narrowing down the problem. So we should be able to get more streams up next week. But for this week, we got to see 2 streamed games, which happened to be Free SM versus why am I blanking on who they went up against? Oh, HYG, right?
HYD.
Yep.
Yeah.
So Free SM and HYG, and we then also got to see Goat Kings versus Demonic Ascension. So we can go ahead and take a look at these rundowns of the last week's games. This is just a real quick, more of a sum up of what happened in the sense of the results. So as we can see, Los Tomatas versus PC Delta. It was a 2-1 for PC Delta. We do have Revolutionary Death Squad versus NRO, and that ended up being a 2-0 for Revolutionary Death Squad. Fury versus oh my god, Bomba Bros crew ends up being 2-0 for Bomba Bros crew. Goat Kings versus Demonic Ascension ends up being a 2-1 for Demonic Ascension. While Stoner Nation versus Chumbawambas ends up being a 2-1 for the Chumbawambas, and an HYG versus Free SM is 2-0 Free SM.
Yep. A lot of good matchups. We had 2-1s, so pretty close series. Big shout out to the Los Tomatas PC Delta games. 2 of the teams people in the initial votes thought would be pretty strong, and them going to 3 games is a pretty good indication. And from what I've heard from people who were in the game, it could have gone either way, really. So good to see some of the teams people thought would be strong matching up pretty well against each other. I know HYG was missing their jungler, so they didn't have TJ, so probably made them a little weaker since they didn't have the built-in synergy for week number 1 going up against Free SM.
Right, they didn't have the
But yeah,
full HYG buff.
a lot of good games. Bomba Bros kicked the crap out of Furry Fury, so well played to them.
Gotta laugh at yourself sometimes.
Yeah, for sure. Unfortunately, not able to crush the dreams of everyone who voted against us, but maybe this week we'll see.
And
And
then
before we jump into looking at the games coming up for this week, I hear, Malco, you're planning on starting up a podcast for Valhalla.
Yes, we are. So just a quick announcement about that. We officially now have a name for it. It is now known as a thing. If you want to understand the actual meaning behind the name, just look up a thing Viking meaning, and then you'll get exactly what it means. But it will be more of something kind of away from the seer, where actually what you see exactly on the screen is kind of how we will be doing the rundown of how the games went for the previous week on a thing. But then afterwards is going to be a little bit more of a laid back kind of 1 to 2 people, questionnaire type of deal, where we're going to try to get players from the previous week or players in the upcoming week that are maybe in opposing teams or 2 opposing rivals, to come onto the podcast and to be able to answer some questions, maybe get a little trash talking, because who doesn't love a little flame? Who doesn't like to try to amp up, make it like a showcasing of the upcoming games for the next week, and try to really build up some hype and stuff behind it. So this next upcoming podcast is going to be a fun little thing that we're going to try to do to maybe help build up a little bit more hype behind the games and really get people amped up for what's coming up next, aside from where the seer really gives us that more detailed explanation of things and give more insight to the games. This is going to be more insight into the players for this upcoming new podcast. So I hope you guys will be able to join us for that, just as you guys love to join us for the seer.
For sure. Look forward to it, and I hope everyone enjoys it. And I'm sure it'll be great because you love to bring all the hype, no matter what you're casting or doing. So it should be a fun podcast for it.
Thank you. I'm excited.
For sure. And then this is kind of the new setup we're trying to do for the Seer. Not have to spend as much time grabbing all the screenshots and going through everything in so much detail, which kind of felt like it dragged out in past streams from other seasons. So definitely let us know, hey, like this new setup. Since we are pretty late, I didn't ping the captains to be here for any of the banter if they wanted. If anyone is around, you can message me and I'll drag you up. But for tonight, probably will just be us giving our predictions for the games. And speaking of, we'll jump into game number 1 for this week, which should also be the game that is getting streamed, as it won out by 1 vote in the poll for which game should be streamed live, and that's Los Nomadas versus Revolutionary Death Squad. How you feel about this matchup?
I'm excited for this matchup, just in the casing of the fact that Revolutionary Death Squad is coming off a very strong week after being able to 2-0 their opponent. And now Los Nomadas, generally what's always seen as kind of a back and forth team, because there'll be like a season that's really, really strong. And I think there's like been one season where they were just kind of like in a slump. And hopefully now they're just kind of, I think they got 2-1 last week.
Yeah, it was 2-1,
Yep.
and it sounded like it was very close in that 3rd game, so it could have gone either way.
So right now I want to see if Los Nomadas is going to be able to, bounce back from just the very close loss, because that's the last little. I feel like honestly, when it's a close loss, it's harder to it's kind of harder to come back from versus where it's like, okay, you got stomped. Okay, we got to just tighten up these things and then we'll be able to come back cleaner next week. It's like, okay, you really tried your damned hardest and now it's like, damn, if that was our damned hardest, like what can we do now to try to make sure that doesn't happen again? I know that I personally am very excited to see how it's going to be in the bot lane matchup, especially since Smoothie, I haven't gotten the chance to see him support yet. So I really think that's gonna be really, really hype. And then you already know that Tortuga has been pretty hyped up as of late. And I did get to catch a glimpse of Game 3 for Los Namadas last week. And yeah, like I can see why people really. I personally am a fan of Tortuga, and I can see why some other people are too. But it was definitely a damn close game, even in that bot lane.
Yeah, for sure. And then the top lane matchup, Omega versus Salt, two top lane mains, which every team doesn't have, and both enjoy fighting and trying to get that early lead. So it should be an entertaining lane to watch as well. And then I've been catching some scrims as teams do them, and I saw Cookie Meth doing a scrim earlier this week, and that dude's just killing it. He's like on all kinds of different champs and just doing ridiculously well on all of them. So watch out for that dude in the jungle.
See, this is why I need like players who are willing to kind of be like drafted into team as kind of like a coach. So then it's like, hey, can you give us an insight on what's been going on in your scrims? And it's just like, yeah, like they're kicking ass, man. And it's like that'd be kind of cool to just be able to hear like from that type of standpoint, like, hey, this is what's been going on with our teams. Like I hope captains will definitely be a little bit more inclined to like want to start saying those types of things and start really putting that up. But for what it is, honestly, this first game matchup is going to be extremely exciting. And as you said, like we're gonna have two brawling. Honestly, if I get to cast this game, it's gonna be probably I'm expecting like quite a bit of solo dolos going up in the top lane.
Oh yeah, for
I
sure.
believe the one game I got the cast of Omega the Reaper in the top lane. He played Riven and was absolutely insane. So like I kind of want to see like a Riven set matchup against these two, and I think that'd just be a lot of fun to watch. I don't know. That's just personally me. So if you guys are listening out there, give me that one thing. That's all I ask.
Yep. And if you're around tomorrow, you should get the custom and
Oh,
get to
okay,
do
yeah.
it
That's
live. So
wait. Why do I
be
feel?
sure to
Why do?
tune in if you're free tomorrow afternoon. And good luck to both teams here. Well, that one thing. Yeah, give me
That's
that
all I
one
ask,
thing,
guys.
please.
I'll allow Trundle for the rest of the season if I get that one thing. I will never ask for Trundle to be banned again.
True. Although it won't stop people from banning it from me. Sad.
Man, you're
Uh,
the one who showed the true power of the Trundle in this league, man. That's that's what you get.
allegedly. But we'll jump into our second team lineup, which is Night
Ooh.
Raid Owls versus the Bomber Bro crew. Night Raid Owl losing week one. I think they got 2-0'd, so not the ideal start for them, but looking to come back strong. They got Perfy, Kid Buu, Mockingbird, Nitros, and Major Crockett. Bombero's crew was the team that played mine, and they did very well into us, so they're hoping to build off that success with Bomba Delicious top, Evbot jungle, Dr. Derek mid, Fluffy ADC, and Tag Alley support. What are you looking for here?
I think I'm looking towards the mid laners, mostly because I think I've seen the Dr. Dirk Mockingbird matchup before, and generally I think it's been relatively even. Oh, 2 kills per
2K
minute.
meme.
Jeez.
All the fame.
I'm also very curious about how Kid Boo's gonna play into Evbot, considering how very aggressive Kid Boo can be as a jungler. Um, and then just I'm also gonna be on the watch out for Perfy up in that top side, just because I maybe this was just not like maybe just week one wasn't something I was expecting, but that top side, like that's just something like I don't know. I maybe I wasn't expecting a 2-0 for or 0-2 for NRO, maybe a 2-1, but like I think honestly maybe it was just a fluke for last week for them. They just maybe something happened. I don't know the exact results of the game, and I didn't get to watch it unfortunately,
Right, right.
but I want to put a little bit more faith into NRO because I feel like that's one of those teams that like again you have an actual top lane main, you have a very aggressive jungler, and you have a very decent mid lane. I'm not sure about Nithos and Major Crockett. I haven't gotten the chance to see. I think this will be my first season getting to actually cast them as well. So like I'm more familiar with like the Dr. Dirk, the F bot, the Delicious on that side, but I just feel like in general those two might be this is honestly going to be a much more even matchup, and I feel like Bomber Bros crew might have a little bit more of a challenge ahead of them. And I think that's just strictly just because of the way it matches up between the two teams.
Yeah, for sure. But should still be an interesting one. We'll see who can pull it off. Good luck to both those teams as we'll jump into the third set, being Furry Furies versus PC Delta. Nithos is good. He played a couple times with our team, Phil. Yeah,
As a Phil.
Nithos is
Okay.
pretty good. We like it when he jumps in for us Bears. And speaking of Bears and myself, it's our team with myself in the top lane, Leon Jungle, Redacted mid now. We're going to have a sub this week, which will be Console C unless if something comes up. Bearpack support, BC Delta doesn't have a sub this week. I can update that, but has Spoobert top, Willie Smile Jungle will be a Modlock in that mid lane. Kaz ADC and support Dark Harvest.
PC
How do you
Delta.
feel about this one? I know how I feel.
I think it's PC Delta is going to they I think it's just gonna be a fun time for you, at least in the top lane. I
For
know
me? What do you
Spoober
mean? I'm
is
against
one of those.
Spoobert.
No, that's what I'm saying. I know he's one of the, that's what I mean by it's gonna be a fun time, and I'm hoping it's not. I'm just gonna pray it's not a fun time of pain. Instead, I'm gonna hope that it's just maybe Spoobert's gonna be nice, and we just get to have a little farm lane and have fun, and then you get Trundle at least one game, and it's just this, it's like it's just something I don't know. It's PC Delta in my mind is gonna end up becoming one of the stronger teams in the league. Yes, they did take it to 3 games, but that was because they were against another strong team last week. So it was just like I think right now, I think PC Delta is a strong contender for number 1 spot. Um,
Yeah, I think
that
on
but
paper
that's
they're very strong.
but they have to also go up against Free SM, which I think is might be legitimately closer to the number 1 team at the moment. But I think PC Delta, if anything, PC Delta and them might, you know, be it might be PC Delta Free SM fighting for the 1-2 spot.
Right,
And
right.
then I would probably say maybe RDS and DA would be the next two.
Los Tomatos too.
Yeah, Los Namados and then I was about to say it. No, not the British Broadcast Network guys. Bomber Bros crew. I think it's like that. Honestly, the 3, 4, 5, 6 slot, like that's such a big mashup right now, and it's mostly because it's only
No
week
chum
1.
called out.
Wow, no faith in us. I'm kidding, I get it. It's
Hey man,
it's not
we're
it's
gonna have a great 2-0 one way or another.
exactly. You guys just gotta make something happen. I'm telling you, just get Hailstorm the Trundle at least one time. Actually, I think there's many different avenues in which you guys can actually win. It's just again, it's like the only thing that sucks this week is that you have a sub, and that usually can sometimes mess with synergies, especially if you don't get the chance to really practice with said substitution. But it could also actually add a new layer of how you guys compete, and
That's waiting
I think
Trundle. Yeah, probably.
yeah. So yeah, Swain's not getting there. Vlad Trundle, yeah, no, and that's what I'm saying. I just think you guys will have the ability to maybe force out some bans and really play towards just something that's gonna make it easy to win. Maybe it's easy to play team composition or something along those lines. Whether it's any of those things, I think there is an avenue for you to win because we've seen plenty of players, plenty of teams be able to punch above the weight class and actually put on a fight for certain teams. And who knows? Maybe you guys can put PC Delta on their heels. You never know what might happen. Just gotta put a little. I'm gonna put a little faith in you guys.
So you're
I'm gonna
saying
put a
there's
little
a
faith in you guys.
chance. All right, we'll take it. We'll take it. Um, but
But
yeah,
damn, you
good
guys got
luck
a
to
team to go up
us.
against this week.
And we'll jump to the next series, which is one of my favorite series coming up, as it is the Battle of the Stoners in Goat Kings versus Stoner Nation. Got Beard and Boosted against each other, ready to both be super high for the night. But do for that, I'll insert Halcyon, Goat King Beard, and Filthy Birdman for Goat Kings, KB Jelly Boomstick, Empire for Hire, Critter, and Boosted Sandwich for Stoner Nation. Should be a very good matchup as well. I feel like they line up pretty well.
As a fellow stoner myself, I will always feel especially attached to these two teams. So these guys are honestly, this is going to be a really fun one. I hope to get this one definitely casted because we could just call it the stoner off for the stream. That'd be kind of fun.
Yeah,
Uh,
it was one I voted for the live cast just because I wanted the stoner fight to happen, but definitely one we'll probably try to catch in a replay.
Yeah, I think it'd be a fun one. And honestly, as everyone knows, I was on Goat Kings in season 2. That team has a special place in my heart. Those guys were awesome to me. And honestly, I love to see that these two guys have been like these two teams particularly have been a household name. And it's really good to see how fun of the two teams they're going to be to go up against one another. I'm absolutely excited to watch KB and Doom Vanilla go at it. That's going to be a lot of fun. And if KB actually gets his poppy through, that's going to be even more fun.
Right.
So,
And
and
I think
I
there might be a change up. Star Nation we're still flip flopping KB and Boomstick as far as top and jungle, so
Oh,
both
okay.
players could be in either spot by the
I
time
was
game time happens.
I heard that there was some rumors there might have been some switch ups with Go Kings too, but I guess maybe that hasn't been officially confirmed and or probably just all right not even happening. So they're probably like, you know what, last week was kind of a crazy one. We're going back with the same lineup and we're just gonna just try to take it again. I definitely think with Goat Kings versus last week, they just kind of lost with like some of the way they did like some of their drafting in the sense of like I think game 3, if they just took the Amumu, they win.
Right. Yeah,
Like
definitely one
that
they
was
could
it
have
to
won.
me.
It was one of those 2-1 series, but it happens.
Yeah.
And I know Beard
But
is really wanting a victory since last season they went winless, so he's chomping at the bit to get a W on the board.
his team definitely still on paper looks very strong. If anything, this is definitely their week to make a comeback here. And once again, you're up against the fellow other stoner team, so it actually might be a pretty relaxed, like it might be a pretty more relaxed game in the sense, at least for the bot laners. So who knows? That might actually work out better in his favor.
Yeah, another one where I saw some of the scrims going on. Um, I think Empire for Hire has been looking really good in that mid lane, so you gotta watch out for him. I know Halcyon's huge on the Kennen. I'm assuming that'll be banned, but is formidable on many other champions as well. And then Doom Vanilla versus KB or Doom Vanilla versus Boomstick, I feel like will be a pretty good matchup for the top lane 1v1.
Honestly, agreed. This is probably going to be one of the
And the
more fun
blunts.
matches of the week.
Coming for blood and blunts, I like it, dude. And actually, one thing to call out as we're going through this, there were no, I don't think any team changes after week 1, which I think is a first. It doesn't mean no team changes will happen later, but everyone just saying, hey, we're gonna give it 2 weeks at least before we start changing it up. And everyone watching, I think most everyone watching is already subbed, which we appreciate. But if anyone isn't, and you got either a Prime or $5 you want to toss our way, we appreciate it, and we'll give you the love for 30 days, and we'll jump into game number 5 for this week, which is Chumbawambas versus FreeSM. Got both the new teams on the blocks. Got Chopped, Casual Plebs, Astros, Dingoslayer, and Timberland for Chumbawambas. FreeSM with Beeson top, Neesmore Mothra jungle, Deity mid, Mont Blanc of Dre was bot lane. How we
This one,
feeling?
I'm already calling it. It's probably looking free SM favor just by the audience in general because you just look at the people that's on there. And last week's performances from Deity, from just in general, all of free SM, like everybody was well done. And it was just, I know there was something I was calling out on the cast, but it was with B Sin even being able to, even with the like being lower salaried, able to hold their own against bonkers up in that top lane, and ultimately actually doing very very well for free SM and leading them to victory against HYG. It was just one of those things where it was just like I think you just have to you had to call it out. Like it was just very very well done. So I think in general right now for SM is just looking like a very big favorite. I think they might potentially end up being the number one team, but I think we have to see after like week 2 or 3. But
Yeah,
right now they're probably looking like the strongest team in the league at the moment.
we gotta see once they get up against some of the other teams we think will be up there, but
I need to
definitely
see them against PC
looking
Delta
good so
particularly.
far. Yeah, gotta see how they match up. But yeah, I agree. I think Chumbawambas got big, especially on Casual and Astros week 1.
I was about to say mid jungle for them is like where I feel a lot of it, and I think Timberland is definitely a really good support pickup, in my opinion. I
Oh
haven't
yeah.
seen Copt play top lane yet, but it definitely. I'm gonna put trust in the fact that because they went top lane, and top lane is one of those where it's like, I hate being up here. Like it's terrible usually. So like if you're willing to be up there, you got to they have to have faith in you.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
I'm thinking like the overall team is good. Did Chumbo actually won their games last week? Correct.
Yeah, but both these
Yes.
teams won. So two 1-0 teams going up against each other here. But I was saying I think their main strength came through that jungle mid, but since you got Deity in that mid lane, gonna be a tougher one to get that big lead. But we'll have to see how it goes. Definitely not 100% either way. So both teams got a good shot at taking the 2-0 going in the early game of the season. And I know he called out Bonkers for the week 1 plays. I know if he was here, he'd say he was getting 2-man and 3-man all game. So you got to watch out for them roaming up top. Copped.
Oh yeah, get ready.
And we'll look at the final series for week number 2, which is HYG versus Demonic Ascension. Got the boy band versus the Swain.
The
Where
boy.
we've got Bonkers top, Speak of the Devil, TJ back this week, will be here for the jungle.
Ooh.
Mabra mid, Jeffrey Crazy, and Danny Taco in that bot lane. Demonic Ascension has Geno's top, Golden Pharaoh jungling, Envy the Reaper mid, and Junie and Worthy Dust bot lane. So another week where this one, Demonic Ascension won and HYG did not win. But HYG didn't have their full team for week 1, so they're hoping to look stronger coming into week 2. And Demonic Ascension's games were pretty close, and a lot of carry power being put on Junie, so definitely looking to carry through that bot lane for their team.
I was gonna say that's probably something that is gonna be probably they're gonna put more pressure on from HYG, and HYG likes to try to help Jeffrey Crazy a lot. So I think that TJ is actually gonna be in that bot lane a lot more, which will possibly prevent Junie from being able to actually do what she does best, which is allow Worthy Dust to roam, play safe, farm up until a team fight happens, and then that all of a sudden you see this, MF or potentially she plays the Hui or the Lux or something just come out of nowhere and you're like, well, shit, what are we doing? Like, there's just all this damage being dropped. We can't do nothing. It's all a matter of if they can continue to play the same strategy, which is Pharaoh on a very aggressive but at the same time effective jungler like the Amumu that he played in games 2 and 3. If and of course Genos able to play very well because I think that was actually another thing. Genos played very well last week against Doom as well.
Yeah, I think he had a
Envy,
good lane.
yeah, and then Envy obviously playing to his best ability. I actually have trust in Envy as he was my previous mid laner, but he's definitely up against Marbra. I'm already expecting a Silas ban completely against HYG and just making sure that that basically Pharaoh's able to match with TJ. If Pharaoh can't match TJ, then HYG is rolling over this team because TJ is a very aggressive jungler early on. But that's the thing, Pharaoh tends to be too, but I think that they're going to be aggressive on opposing ends. I wouldn't be surprised to see if Golden Pharaoh is going to be utilizing his mid and top to try to really control the top side of the map, while TJ is trying to help get Jeffrey Crazy and Dainty Taco ahead and utilize Dragon Control to try to win the game. That is kind of my angles for those two teams.
Yeah, for sure. And should be an exciting one. And hoping that one will be a pretty big back and forth series. And I'm going to do it the same way we did it last week for all the predictions. And for anyone who wants to see how they did week 1, I've been very busy, so at some point I'll make a combined score so everyone can see where they're standing on the prediction count. But we have the votes for this week's games. So I'm going to do it like we did last week where I go through them all and you give me your prediction. We see how close you are to the people's predictions, Malco.
Okay, that's gonna be interesting. All right, so
And
first
anyone in
game.
chat, if you want to guess what the percentages are as well, feel free to toss them out there. We'll see who can get closest. But how we feeling, Los Tomatas versus Revolutionary Death Squad? Where you think the votes went?
I honestly think it was a 53-47 Revolutionary Death Squad.
So pretty close, but RDS favored. Let's see. What up, Smoothie? How you doing?
Hey, the boy.
The captain. Also gonna
Oh,
say 53-47. Guys are just great minds, think alike, but the people say big
wow.
support for Los Namadas, where they say 63.6 versus a 36.4. So, despite the better record coming into week 2, they're believing in Los Namadas. But we've got Revolutionary Death Squad ready to try and play spoilers and take them down.
They got the underdog buff officially now. All right.
What up, Cookie? Holy fuck, we appreciate it. Although Smoothie is happy to be the underdog, so he likes to fight from behind. He's ready for it. He says, "Bring on the hate. We got this." But now we'll jump into match number 2, NRO versus Bamba Bros crew. How we feeling on this one?
This one has to be, I feel like a lot of these are actually going to be more in the 60s. So this one I'm actually going to try to just be more conservative, say 60-40 split, but in Bomba Bros crew favor.
60-40. Yeah, I'd agree. I don't exactly remember this one, but I think it'd be at least a favorite to the Bamba Bros. Smoothie agreeing with the 60-40. Let's see what the people said. Ooh, even more.
Oh.
77.3 to 22.7. Huge belief in Bamba Bros said, "We saw how they treated Furry Fury week number 1. We think they're going to do it again. Watch out for them." And NRO, you're out here to just beat all the haters and take them down. You guys know you can do it as well.
Y'all really got some faith in people. All right, I gotta really treat these teams like I gotta really
I'll
think about
cheer
these
for
teams like
NRO.
like it's not week 1 anymore. Because I'm like, damn, I thought there would be a little bit more faith in NROs. Like they actually have a decent team. Like
they,
on paper,
yeah,
like it's actually a really good team.
it's I kind of agree where you were saying it's like maybe they had one off week or just like the first week they weren't quite in sync. I agree on paper they look like they could be pretty good. So I don't think it should be this lopsided, but a lot of belief in the Bomber Bros right now. We'll have to see if they can take advantage.
That just hurt my soul a little bit. I'm not gonna lie.
Now the fun one. Furry Fury versus PC Delta. Where do we think this one's at?
I really about to say I was about to say Bears.
5 to
I
ten
hate to
percent
say
for
it,
Furry
but this is
Fury.
one of those. This is one of those where
17%
I'm
last
like,
week.
I kind of want to say like 83-17. It is probably the craziest thing ever. But
97 to 3, 90 to 10. Yeah, I think you guys kind of have the gist after last week. Everyone wanted to give us a fair shake last week, but this time we're like, we know where it's at.
all right, so we'll say
That's
95-5 PC Delta.
As a matter of fact, it is 95.5 to 4.5 PC Delta.
Damn it, it's so
I
close.
I think we maybe had one voter who believed in us, so I appreciate you, believer. We'll do our best. But yeah, on paper, this one's a little rough, but we're coming as the underdogs, so we can only go up from here.
You know what? I think it'll be all right. Just someone needs to unplug all their keyboards.
Yeah,
And
I'm the
this
biggest
is how they're
underdog,
feeling.
Smoothie. You don't even know.
If this is how everyone's feeling. That's kind of scary. I'm actually very surprised to see it. Like I didn't think it would be that lopsided, even with your loss from last week. I thought it would at least be like, again, it's week 1, guys. Like you got to give everybody a chance to come up.
Listen, they
This
they gave us a chance by giving us like 20%. Now they're done. They're like, here's your under 5% vote. Good luck.
I'm gonna have to like I need to interview someone else from like and be like, yo, where did this ill faith and fury come from? Is it just because you guys don't like furries?
That might be part of it. Redacted, a known furry. You've heard it here first, folks.
You know what?
um,
That might be it. That
but
just might be all it
to a
is.
more reasonable matchup, we'll go to Goat Kings versus Stoner Nation, the battle of the Weed Bros. How we feeling on this one?
I'm gonna just straight up say 50-50. I don't care. I think this is the one that's like the most exciting, most even to
Straight
me for
up
this
toss up.
upcoming week. So I just think it's a straight. Yeah, no, really, like it's a coin flip for this game. For these games, this is a complete
60-40
coin
for
flip.
Smoothie, 56-44 for Blitz. Although
Oh,
going
I'm going.
different ways, go Kings and Stone Nation. So yeah,
It was, don't forget, guys. It was a 2-1 last week for Go Kings. It wasn't like it did take 3 games before they got taken down. So you got to give them some faith.
yeah, but
Um,
people feeling like it's pretty even. Let's see what the people voted. 50-50, you were right.
Go!
Exactly 50-50. Most even? Possibly the most even. I think your mic might have muted you if you yelled.
Oh, sorry. I am
There we
hyped.
go.
I really was just going with the 50-50, like a literal coin flip. And that, yes, let's go.
If they saw our team fighting. KB, how do you feel about the lineup or the matchup? How are you feeling for week 2? Since I see you're in chat.
Might be a bit
A bit
cap,
cap.
really.
Well, we'll see if KB gets back to me. But yeah, definitely one that should be fun to watch, and I'm hoping this is pretty correct where we get that 3-game series, and it'll be a good one to catch on a vodcast.
Definitely.
Now we'll jump into Chumbawambas versus a Free SM. How we feeling here?
I'm going to say this one is probably that 65-35 free SM.
Giving them the edge. 80-20 for Smoothie. Giving a
Oh.
big edge to Free SM.
If it's two currently 1-0 teams right now. I think what it is that people have faith in the fact that because Chumbawamba was able to win last week, that they can probably punch a little bit more towards free SM. But again, as you mentioned, it's gonna be kind of hard to punch through that mid lane and probably jungle as well. Like they're
Right.
expecting the matchup.
Go
So I
Kings is
honestly think it's a
60-40.
65-35.
Alright, let's see where we're at.
Jesus.
81.8 to 18.2. People believing in Free SM, saying, I don't care you won, Chumbawambas. We're not giving you that respect. You gotta show them what's up, Chumbawambas. Yeah, Smoothie basically right on point with that prediction. Basically, as close as you could be.
Yeah, quite literally. Jeez. Get that celebration. We gotta just somehow put like I wish we could put like points to this somehow. That'd be let
You
people
know,
start gambling.
we'll have to find a way. But right now, you get all the hype up in the chat. You get your own personal gratification, so that's worth something at least.
No, you're right. You're right.
And then the final matchup, we have our HYG versus Demonic Ascension. How we feeling on this one?
This is one I'm scarily saying another 50-50, and the reason why is that even though Demonic Ascension was able to take the 2-1 against Goat Kings last week, HYG is a consistently popular team within the league, and it does go to show that once again they did not have their jungler to start last week. This time they will be having TJ, who generally is an extremely aggressive jungler, especially against someone like Golden Pharaoh, who
Right.
also tends to be aggressive. But as I pointed out earlier, they're going to be playing to 2 different ends of the map, where I believe HYG is going to play through bot lane and try to get Jeffrey Crazy as much ahead of Junie as possible and make their team fighting better so they could transition from early to mid game properly and then be able to carry out to the wind, where there's going to be more of a top lane play through Genos and Envy going through that top side, trying to siege as much of that as possible. So if anything, I'm going to say, honestly, let me give it 55-45 in the side of Demonic Ascension.
I see, I see. Both of you starting at 50-50, and then I like Smoothie saying, actually, I know how people vote for HYG. Let me say it's 65-35 because he remembers from last season, early on, people were non-believers in HYG. Although we did learn from last season, they were pretty good. They made it second, so maybe more believers now. But let's see where we're at for this final prediction. And you should have
50.
stuck with your gut. Another 50-50. Perfectly even once again. Let's see these guys brawl it out to see who can take it home.
Holy, we got some really good looking games this upcoming week actually. Now, I love the fact that there's literally two full on ones that are just straight up 50-50s. Like it's straight coin flips. You don't know who's good. Ah, man, this is going to be great.
Yeah, when I was
This is going
grabbing
to
the
be awesome.
screenshots, I saw these two. I was like, all right, let's go. We got two 50-50s. I like it. I like it. Perfectly balanced as all things should be. You're right. But yeah. Oh, one other thing I can shout out: Tortuga is gonna try to do some write-ups on teams for power rankings. So keep an eye out for that. Once he gets it written down, I think he said he was gonna try to do it bi-weekly. So it could be a fun time. I think he's gonna try to watch all the replays to do a good write-up on them. So if you're interested in all that, keep an eye out for it. Keep an eye out for Malco's podcast once that starts. And be here tomorrow night if you're not going to be in game. And check out the live games, hopefully with Malco casting them.
Most
And
definitely.
thank you all for watching. You
Thank
got
you all
anything
for
else you want to
watching.
call up?
Honestly, no. I think I'm all set. If anything, we should be good to go. Once again, just be on the lookout for a thing with me, and particularly, I don't think we're gonna have a second guest. I think I might just randomly week by week just get some just random person to just be like, hey, you want to be a guest host this week, and let's see what happens. So we're gonna figure all that out. Once everything's ready to go, I will be announcing the first one to come up, but that should be within the next week or so.
For sure, for sure. And if you ever need a host, you can't find one, I'm sure you always have Blitz and myself around. We can make it happen.
Oh, that's very true. I always got you guys to depend on. But alrighty, if that is it, guys, thank you once again for joining us here for the Seer for week 5 or season 5, week 2. We're not in week 5 just yet, but once we get towards week 5, that's probably going to be one of the craziest, jumbles up actually happened right in the middle of the season. So, with that much said, guys, remember though, don't forget to use your Prime subs here and guarantee yourself 30 days of love with Valhalla Esports, at the very least with the casters. I am Malco, and it has been Hailstorm on the production. You guys have been absolutely amazing tonight. We will see you guys tomorrow night. I believe, once again, it is Los Namadas versus RDS. Yes. So,
Yes.
yep. So, we're going to have Los Namadas versus Revolutionary Death Squad. So, Smoothie, be ready. Your team is the one that's getting casted tomorrow. So this is going to be a lot of fun to see. And I hope to see you guys tomorrow night, as always, at 9 p.m. Eastern Time.
For
Have
sure.
a good night.
Later,
Peace
everyone.
out.
Feel the aura